All righty. Hey there. Good morning. I am meteorologist Ben Peine. It is your Tuesday, September the 30th. It is our very last day of September, and we actually have kind of an information heavy live show today. Even though the weather is so quiet, we're going to talk about what happened in September, what happens in October. We're first frost, first freeze. We've got tropical information. We've got weather jokes. We've got weather history. So we've still got a very loaded show, even though we're finishing off September and starting off October on a very quiet note across the area. Let's take a live look outside, shall we? Here is a live look from outside the Extol Media Studios here in Uptown New Albany at a crystal clear blue sky once again. And what else? I mean, we've had just some spoiled conditions here for quite some time. We'll wait for some folks to get on board, but thanks for watching. If you're watching from my page, Meteorologist Ben Peine, Extol Weather on Facebook, Extol Media on YouTube, or on the old World Wide Web, extolmag.com/weather is where you can find a lot of weather content for Southern Indiana and beyond. And this is your weather conversation for Southern Indiana and beyond as well. So thanks for joining us here this morning. We'll take a look at our comments that are popping in. Thanks for dropping in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from and what's happening in your area as well. Sometimes we'll get some live temperature readings from the backyards across the area. We've got Orlean Whitlow already in here this morning. Where's that beautiful October weather? I want to see it. We got your 7-day forecast coming up, and you're going to see some beautiful October weather. And eventually we're going to want some rain chances back across the area. And I think we'll start to get that early next week. So again, a lot of information we're going to pack into the show today, because I did a lot of digging on some different stuff. So we're going to get a little bit weather nerdy on the program here today. Let me go ahead and bring up a look at our weather headlines for today, which is just a continuation of our warm afternoons and cool nights across the area. It's going to be dry all week, and then that rain chance perhaps by early next week. There's one of our live temperature reports from Lillian Lasley. Got 72 degrees at the house. Started off in the upper 50s, low 60s again early this morning around sunrise. And our play ball forecast, 78 at noon today, 86 for the afternoon high. At the airport, Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport actually touched 88 briefly. So you can kind of overachieve with the dry air. You can kind of pop those temperatures in the afternoon briefly, but then you can cool it right down very nicely as well. We got Dennis Gregory popping in with a good morning from Bedford, Indiana. Dry, comfortable walk at 7 a.m. We'll try to do it again at noon. Multiple walks per day. Love it. That is a healthy way to go for sure. I still need to be inspired to get back out and pound the pavement and get in some runs, especially in the evening time. Before we dig in again to, as I mentioned, if you're just popping in to the show, we got the weather history. We got the weather jokes. We've got a look at our first frost and freezes on average. September ended up with over 4 inches of rainfall, even though most of the month was dry. Last week, we did get quite a bit of rain, which helped out the drought a little bit across the area, but now we'll probably head back into some drought conditions with this really dry weather pattern. But we actually ended up with above normal amount of rainfall in September. And now we're starting off October on a dry note. So again, information-heavy episode today. We got some tropics to talk about and some other stuff as well. So let me bring this one up here. This is just a reminder. You can always get your weather resources here at extolmag.com. We've got our live show up right now. Obviously, look at our current conditions. Your 7-day forecast. Just click right there on that, and you can pop that up. You can see just a phenomenal week ahead for us, and then you cruise on down. You'll find some more maps and resources. No severe weather outlook, no severe weather threat from the Storm Prediction Center for today or tomorrow or really anytime soon across our region. And we back out the interactive radar here. You can see the closest rain showers there over the mid-Atlantic in association with some of those outer bands of Imelda, that what is now a hurricane, Category 1 hurricane, the fourth hurricane of the Atlantic tropical season. So it's, again, a little bit busy out there with Imelda and Umberto. And we'll take a look at those tropical systems here in just a second, too, which actually we don't really have to wait much longer. I can just pop it up right here. Here's a look at our radar and satellite. You can see it is clear all across the region. There's the coastal rains and the two dueling hurricanes out there. You don't see it too often where they're this close together. We talked last week about that Fujiwara effect, the stronger Umberto influencing that storm and going to help pull it out into the Atlantic Ocean. So no impact whatsoever on our area. So there's Umberto with maximum winds around 87 miles per hour, was a lot stronger than that. And then we've got Imelda, which is now a hurricane right at 74 miles per hour, which is the threshold for Category 1 hurricane. Either way, there you can see the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center and the spaghetti models push both of those storms back out into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. We stay high and dry with just a whole lot of sunshine across our region. Got a couple more comments here popping in, and let me get to those here. And we got beautiful weather from Tim Furnish. I believe that all across the area. It is very nice. Thanks for popping in those comments. Perry Porter, good morning. Awesome morning again. Thanks for telling what day it is. My anniversary of 36 years. Happy anniversary. I'm at 22 years. So Perry's at 33. Let us know what the secret is there in the comments. John Fox, good morning. Go Cubs. Happy birthday to my wife, Marcia. Happy birthday, Marcia Fox, as well. Good luck to your Cubbies. Good luck to the Reds. I think we all want them to beat the Dodgers. And a Vicky Burger, pop it in the comments as well. Hello there in Salem, Indiana. Thank you guys for tuning in here this morning and giving me some company here as we roll right along on our last day of September. I want to do, of course, give a shout out to our partners, Lions Roofing, lionsroofingco.com, protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime. Free estimates right there online. They got you covered, commercial, residential, custom home building, help you figure out the financials that are involved. 812-294-3595. They've got you on both sides of the river. Both sides of the river as well with your insurance needs. They've had a price reduction with the auto renewals you may want to check out. Tell Michael Long that I sent you, 812-578-3072. You can also just go to amfam.com, search Michael Long. You'll find his landing page right there where you can connect as well. Libs Paving, libspaving.com, L-I-B, as in Ben, spaving.com. The top asphalt contractor around. Careers are still available for you. Some job opportunities you may want to apply for. They've got their career section still up, and you can click Learn More and apply right there. You can also register for your courses at IB Tech right now, anytime. They've got, rolling sessions throughout the year. They're in their fall sessions. They'll be going into their second fall session here soon. You belong here. This is the Sellersburg campus. You can find a ton of information online. Look at all the different programs that you can click on. My son is in the entrepreneurship program through Prosser, so you can learn more details about all this. Or it is Tuesday, so that means Tuesdays at the Tech, where you can register online right here and get that in-person assistant and learn from some instructors there or some administrators or whoever it might be that might be talking to you about getting started at Ivy Tech, registering for classes, career development, and paying for college. So lots of resources there for you online. And it is just a crystal clear day that we're looking at here throughout all of the region. Today, just like yesterday and the day before, there's really been very little change to our weather pattern, and it will continue to be like that. As always, you can contact with me, Ben, at extolmag.com. If you want to learn more about some advertising and marketing solutions, you can contact me or Jason, Jason at extolmag.com as well. So again, back to that forecast here as we start to dig into the details of the forecast. And so for those of you just popping on, we've got Perry Porter. Always remember the wife is always right. I'll give you a cheers to that right there. Just be a yes man. All right. And then we've got Sarah Humphreys in the Campbellsville area. Thanks for tuning in there, Sarah. And good morning to Angela. Have an awesome day. And Donna Hammond, good morning to you. And again, if you're just popping in, even though the weather's quiet, I've got this program loaded with information. We are going to get downright dirty, nerdy into the weather department here today. All right, here we go. We're getting into it. Again, warm afternoons, cool nights, dry all week. Rain chance is going to be early next week. We'll look ahead with that with the weather model data here coming up at around 10:20 usually. The play ball forecast, upper 70s at noon, 86 in the afternoon. My son was playing tennis at Clarksville yesterday, and it was a little bit toasty out in the sunshine. It's like perfect in the shade. but the September sunshine still a little bit on the warm side. So this map shows here from the National Weather Service our a typical first frost. And basically, you can boil this all down to around mid-October. And I don't think we're going to see any frost until at least mid-October. I just don't see a front strong enough. Now, the European weather model is a little more eager for a cool front to move through than the GFS at this point. It's going to take some time for them to agree, it looks like. But there could be some changes around, I would say, mid to third week of October. But Louisville Metro, you can see, and down towards Evansville in the purple, that's a little bit latter days of October for the first frost. And first frost is kind of defined as 36 degrees because that air temperature is taken above the ground. At ground level, it can be right at 32, right where the grass grows, and that's where you can get some frost. So in the month of October, in general, is when we typically see that first frost. The frost won't necessarily get rid of all the pollen. You want your first freeze, and here's the first freeze information. Average first date of the first fall freeze in Louisville, and this could be a little bit sooner for some outlying areas, some valley locations. So this shows the peak, if you look here, right around October 29th. So say late October, early November, typical first hard freeze. So Myra Craig, yeah, you are correct. That late October, early November timeframe is probably a pretty good bet this time around. So there's a look at the first frost and freeze information there from the National Weather Service. So fall is all about dropping things. Things are falling from the sky, acorns and leaves, and we're also dropping daylight hours here. So through the month of October, October 1st sunset, tomorrow 7:25. By October 31st, 6:44. Now that's a little deceiving because only a couple days later, which is 33 days from now, we get the time change. We fall back an hour. We gain an hour of sleep, but you get to 5:42 sunset in 33 days. So we lose a total of 1 hour and 11 minutes of daylight through the month of October. You're already noticing those earlier sunsets and later sunrises. We're squeezing out the daylight from both ends, and that just continues through the month of October here for us. So that kind of speaking to that, here's our countdown. How many days until average highs in the 60s? That's about 19 days away. Our time change in 33 days. We get our average first flurries in about 46 days. That's typically like mid-late November, and then Thanksgiving about 58 days from that. We've got your weather jokes, and these might be pretty poor, as I did think of these this morning. So why was the sun so confused? It was starting to get cloudy. It was starting to get a little cloudy. These might be a 3 out of 10 on the stupid joke ranking here. So why was the sky not thinking straight? It was getting a bit foggy. I feel like I've been feeling like that in the morning a little bit. So why did the sun break up with the moon? It wouldn't show its other side. Get it? The far side of the moon. We never see the other side of the moon. All right, we're moving right along. We're having a good time. All right, here's today's weather history. So we have a few local ones here in the weather history today. So 1899 in Indianapolis, the earliest fall freeze, speaking of fall freezes, on record, set a low of 30 degrees. The record is tied in 1993 when the temperature drops to 32. So it happened not all that long ago, 32 years ago. 1971, known as the Grand Dame of Hurricanes, Hurricane Ginger was the longest-lasting Atlantic hurricane of the 20th century. Began its 27-day journey east of the Bahamas, went out into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, then turned around, came back west. The storm struck North Carolina, and on this date, 1971, bringing 10 inches of rain and $10 million in damage. 27-day hurricane. That is crazy. Or tropical system. In 1971, Atlantic Hurricane Irene crossed Nicaragua on the 19th to reform in the eastern Pacific as Hurricane Olivia. So it was an Atlantic and Pacific hurricane there in 1971. 1987, South Bend, Indiana received a thunder snowstorm. So we're starting to talk a little bit more about snow in the weather history as we get into this fall season. 1992, the coldest September in the interior of Alaska occurred in 1992. Fairbanks averaged 31 degrees for the month. 2020, 5 years ago, Indianapolis with just 0.12 inches of rain. September 2020 becomes the driest September on record. Oh, I got some props for the last joke. Thank you very much. The first one's extra corny. Lillian, thank you as well. I appreciate that. That builds my confidence back up. All right. Moving right along. Again, information heavy. I warned you it was an information heavy live show today with all of the content here. This is interesting to me, and maybe it'll be interesting to you. All right. So this is up to today a fairly rare view of a radar. So this here is from Jeff Barandelli. I forget how to say his last name. I apologize. He's a Tampa Bay chief meteorologist, but he shared this on Twitter. A rare radar view of Category 5 Hurricane Umberto, because we don't have radars out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. This is not a land-based radar that we're used to. So this is called a synthetic aperture radar, SAR. It was taken from a NOAA satellite of the storm Saturday night. And so this is actually, beaming down some microwave radiation, bouncing it off the ocean waves. And so instead of us getting the speed of the winds from raindrops, which we do with with the land-based radar, this is, beaming down from above from a satellite, and then it's picking up the reflectivity, the reflected radiation off the surface of the ocean. And by the shape of the waves, NOAA has modeled out how fast the winds would have to be to create a wave that looks like that by seeing some bright spots and some dark spots with the wave activity. So this is I don't know how long this technology has been out, but we haven't really seen it. I don't think it's operational just yet, but this is a NOAA satellite-based radar view of Hurricane Umberto. So it's kind of interesting science there. Something I learned today, passing it along to you as well. So again, using waves to figure out wind speed instead of the raindrops we use with the Doppler effect. Interesting. All right, let's get to the forecast. UV index is a 6 today. Moderate levels of grass and weed pollen across the area. And for our Tuesday, our forecast summary for today, for your September 30th, again, our last day of September, 86 degrees, just like yesterday. Sunny, warm, low humidity, northeast wind around 5 to 15. Our sunset at 7:38. And our forecast tonight, just like last night, clear and cool, a light northeast breeze, and our sunrise at 7:39. 7-day, or our forecast tomorrow, almost to the 7-day forecast for your Wednesday, October 1st. Just looks like what we have out there today. Some mid-80s. We start off with cool mornings, mild midday, warm afternoon. And so our normal high this time of the year is 77. So we're a good 8 degrees above normal tomorrow. Our normal low is 56. Sun up at 7:39. Our sunset at 7:25. Here is that first October 7-day forecast. So we've got 80s and sunshine in the afternoons and some cool upper 50s, low 60s at nighttime. Might drop off a degree or two as we head into the weekend. And then we're starting to maybe get a southerly flow develop early next week. That might bring in a little more moisture and a little better chance of a few rain showers by Monday, Tuesday of next week. So that has been an information-loaded forecast there for you. So I hope you enjoyed that. It is almost 10:20. So we're going to load up now the weather graphics and start to look ahead here for you. So let me go ahead and bring it back up here. So there you can see the completely clear sky overhead. You've got the dueling hurricanes out here, Umberto, and you've got Imelda, and they are going to be tracking off to the east and way out into the Atlantic Ocean. We continue to have high pressure over our region, and that area of high pressure, actually, as we do a little bit of drawing, is out of Canada, big Canadian high, and the air is flowing out of that, and we have a light northeast breeze coming our direction. And then the closest rain is here over the mid-Atlantic and the southeast, kind of associated with low pressure from Imelda. And then there's just a tiny bit of sprinkly activity out here, kind of between a couple of high pressure systems out in the Great Plains, but we continue to be influenced by this area of high pressure, and that will keep us high and dry across the region for days and days and days. So let me go ahead and get out of the big view there. And of course, we'll start to look at the long range forecast. We got to look at the long range forecast because there are simply no changes in the short term. So that means the good old Ben on a Limb segment. So here we go. Back to it. We're going to bring up the CPC, the Climate Prediction Center, and look ahead here. This is the 8 to 14-day outlook. I think we're going to see a lot of orange and red on this map here when it pops up, and that means above normal temperatures through the 6 to 10-day outlook. It doesn't mean hot weather this time of the year. It just means we're going to be above the normal high, which is in the mid-70s. So that means, like we saw in the 7-day forecast, some lower, maybe some mid-80s. And what this is a trough. We talked about this yesterday in the jet stream out west. So your troughs, your dips in the jet stream fill in with cooler weather. And we got a big ridge of high pressure at aloft and at the surface. And these ridges are going to fill in with above normal temperatures. So that means from the Climate Prediction Center, above average confidence in above normal temperatures through 6 to 10 days out. Now, we can also bring in the 8 to 14-day outlook, and I think it is also going to be above normal for us. I'm still not seeing a high confidence in a strong Canadian front to move through and change up this weather pattern through mid-October. So this is out to 14 days, and we're kind of in the middle, notice, of the extended outlook here from the Climate Prediction Center with above normal temperatures. So if you like it like this, and maybe we should take advantage of this weather, because once it takes a turn, it takes a turn. It can take a turn for a long time, and we may be looking at highs in the 50s, 60s, cold nights, that kind of thing. So enjoying for now if you like the warm stuff across the area. So that is a couple of the maps there from the Climate Prediction Center. And just for fun, because we don't see this too often throughout the year, is look at the Storm Prediction Center's severe weather risk. And there is not a single area that has a risk of severe weather. It is 0 out of 5 throughout the continental United States. And if we go to day 2, 0 chance across coast to coast and border to border. Things are rather quiet here. And that is pretty typical of the fall season. This is day 3. No risk of severe weather across the continental United States. Very quiet this time of the year. Good time of year for weddings. September, October, typically our driest months of the year, and pretty much living up to that as well. With that said, let's go ahead and try to look for our next rain chance, which is going to be a little bit down the road, as I mentioned. So we'll bring up our future radar. And we'll bring up the GFS weather model here at 10:23. All right, now we've got the GFS loaded up. I'm going to jump ahead to Sunday, the 5th of October here. And it is showing a little moisture just off to our south, mainly central southern Kentucky. I'm keeping our Sunday dry. The GFS showed this. The European and the Canadian weather model were all completely dry Sunday. So I'm keeping Sunday dry. As we go into Monday, the GFS and the European weather model did start to show a little bit of a rain chance across the area. So this is Monday, October the 6th. Next chance for some showers in our region. So we'll see if that happens. As the old saying goes, I've said it before, when in drought, hard to get out. The air just gets really dry. It's kind of a feedback system. The ground is dry. It dries out the air, vice versa. And then you have a system come in, and the air is so dry, it just zaps out the moisture. All right, so that is Monday. We go to Tuesday, which is going to be the 7th of October, and it shows a chance for some showers across the area as well. Now, as far as like a big weather model, or not weather model change, but weather pattern change, I'm going to bring up the dew point map because we're looking, when will that green be replaced by red is a strong indication of when we might see that bigger weather pattern change. So now I'm going into the 8th of October, and notice that that front is organizing pretty well to our north, not only with the GFS, but also the European weather model. But will it have the strength to push through is kind of the question at this point. This is right around October 8th, which would be next Wednesday. So as I push forward here and go to Thursday, October the 9th, we are right on the line. So we might see, if this kind of setup actually happens, southern Indiana, Kentucky still feeling like we feel now, while areas off to the north are feeling a lot different. And just to the north, look at these dew points showing 20s compared to 60s. That's like a going from the air we have now down to, or even maybe a little more humid, down to desert-like air over a cross of a few miles. So we'll see if that actually happens. And then as I bring up the temperature difference with this setup here, so this would be, again, not this Thursday, next Thursday. And it shows a pretty good contrast in temperatures across the area, 60s. So, who knows? Maybe we'll get a little cool down late next week. The stronger push of these are high temperatures, by the way. Look at that. Look at the highs in the 40s and 50s over the Great Lakes in the northern Midwest. So we're seeing that would be a temperature gradient, a tight temperature gradient from north to south. And so maybe we'll get a decent little cool spell there late next week. We shall see. Let me bring up the dew point map once again and see if this would hang around for very long. This is now going into next Friday. It looks like that humidity tries to come back, at least with this solution. This would be going into next weekend, Saturday the 11th. So we're starting to see getting closer to mid-October. Maybe we're getting some pushes of some fronts moving through. So this is Sunday the 12th now, and you can see that the dry, again, the red air is the dry air. And this is kind of leftover summer weather down here to the south. So fall may be making a stronger push second, third week of October. Let me get rid of that right there. And let's bring up the temperature map here and see what kind of cool down we're talking about. And it might end up just being kind of that's showing 60s across the area here. Not this weekend, but the following weekend. And look at those high temperatures off to the north. As I try to plot some of these out here. So there you go. That's potential. European weather model, I think, is kind of on board as well. We'll go full screen here, and there you go. There is a Canadian win, I would say, as far as the changing of the seasons. So we'll see. There's still some model discrepancy, I would say, some timing differences with the long-range data, but interesting to see right there. This is showing right around the 12th. We'll mark it in the back of our minds. We'll check in day by day, and we will see if we can start to pin down when we'll start to get these more significant fronts to move through. And the good thing is with these fronts, we do get a little bit of a rain chance usually, along with that cool down. So this doesn't show cold enough for like a frost or freeze at this point, but definitely a cooler spell on the way. If we go into the morning of the 13th, I believe that is a Monday. So not cold enough for a freeze, but getting chillier with lows in the 40s. So we've been this is kind of the talk this time of the year. When are we going to get those stronger fronts to push in and win out? It's typically in October, obviously, when we start to get those bigger chills, the big chill downs. We've had flurries, we've had sleet in late October. I've been trick-or-treating out here in southern Indiana in sleet before, so it can definitely happen. We'll see how quick the change is, but there you can see that potential down the road here. Again, not this weekend, maybe around next weekend, mid-October timeframe. So there you go. And will this correlate with a dip in the jet stream. Look at that. Just changing air mass there. Just Canada winning the battle, so to speak. So as we look at the 500 millibar winds, this is the winds up at around 18,000 feet, and there you go. You can almost always match it up with the upper levels. Look at this dive in the jet stream right here. This would be a significant change to our weather pattern. And the warm air would go out west. So you'd start to heat up out west with high pressure here, and then low pressure and a dip in the jet stream over our region. So that would be a big time change if that dive in the jet stream does move over our area here around mid-October. Huge, again, pattern change for our area. Interesting to see. We'll continue to look at it day by day. And of course, day by day, we're going to get closer to that change. So that has been the good old Ben on a Limb segment there. All right, let's get back to the forecast. In case you're popping in a little bit late, we'd like to do the recap of the forecast here for you. And we will start it out right about here. Let's bring it up. I got to bring it up first. There we go. For today, for your Tuesday, September the 30th, high of 86 degrees, sunny and warm, low humidity, northeast wind at around 5 to 15, and our low tonight, 63 degrees. I mean, we are on repeat here as we finish up September and head into October. Tomorrow's forecast, just about like today. A nice cool start, mild midday, 78 at noon, and 85 for that afternoon high. Normal high, 77. Normal low is 56. And the 7-day forecast, we've got your 80s, warm afternoons, and our cool nights in the upper 50s and low 60s. And we might start to get some rain chances by early next week. So nothing. There's almost nothing happening in the weather department right now, but we're always looking beyond that to the longer range. So again, if you ever want to contact me or join us with some marketing solutions for Southern Indiana or beyond into Kentucky, you can always reach out to me, Ben at extolmag.com or Jason at extolmag.com. And Vicki is saying you give the best reports, bring a lot of information than you could ever do on TV. You're the best. Thank you very much, Vicki. Yeah, you're right. I just have a lot more time to really dig into the details instead of that 2-minute and 30-second full forecast that I used to have to do everything. Not that far back in the day, right? Here's a live look as well as we switch this up real quick. Boom, there we go. This is the Falls of the Ohio Foundation.org camera right there. It looks like someone boating out there. And saw some folks walking around, checking out the waterfront, checking out the fossil beds, enjoying the beautiful mornings that we've had across the area. One more time, a shout out to our partners here, Lyons Roofing, LYONS roofing.com, roofingco.com. You can get your free estimates there online. Of course, they're not only protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime on the Indiana side, they're helping you out on the Kentucky side as well. So either side of the river, over Louisville Metro and beyond, 812-294-3595. They can get you covered there, literally. Also, they can get you covered here at American Family Insurance, amfam.com. Just search Michael Long and tell him I sent you. 812-578-3072. They've had price reductions on the auto renewal, so you may want to get a quote and check that out. Also, Tuesdays at the Tech. Hey, it is Tuesday. You can go to the locations here at ivytech.edu, click Sellersburg, cruise right here, Tuesdays at the Tech, and you can register for one-on-one support getting started at Ivy Tech, registering for classes, career development, paying for college, guiding you into what you might think is your next best step, your next thing that you're interested in. They've got dozens of 2-year certifications to get you going in your next career. All right, there we go. And still some job openings here at libspaving.com. You can apply now there online. Of course, the top asphalt paving contractor around, right out of Floyd's Knobs, family-owned company right here in our backyard. So check them out. Also, I want to remind you of all the resources that you have for free right here, extolmag.com/weather. I just hit the refresh button. So we've got our live stream up right there. I was just talking about Ivy Tech. Current conditions showing 73 live radar. You've got your 3-day forecast, the 7-day forecast that I've just posted right there. Your severe weather outlooks, if that ever happens again, but we're quiet for now. Severe weather watches warnings, storm reports, river levels, lake levels, current Indiana weather and traffic. I think this will get more interesting when we get into the winter season, when we can take a look at all these different cameras all across southern Indiana. And of course, your big full screen interactive radar, which again shows the closest rain as I back this out live there over the mid-Atlantic and the southeast. Nothing happening in the middle. You can plot your temperatures though, as again we make our way into the 70s here. And one peak more alive outside, no clouds, severe clear as the pilots call it, great visibility, low humidity. Just grab the shades, grab the sunglasses, and enjoy again while we have it across the area. And Lillian Lasley, we'll wrap it up here with your comment right here. Have a wonderful day. Yes, indeed. Again, I think it'll be interesting as we look day by day here. Will we still see, maybe not this weekend, next weekend, for that weather pattern change, a more significant cool down? So timing that out, going to be comparing and contrasting the European weather model, the GFS weather model. That's what we're going to be kind of focusing on here for the rest of this week. So thanks for tuning in here this morning. Thanks for joining the weather family here in southern Indiana and beyond. As always, you can find me with more updates on my page. That is Meteorologist Ben Peine, P-E-I-N-E, right there below. I've still got Lillian's comment up, so I'll take that off. There you go. Or Extol Weather on Facebook, Extol Media on YouTube. Thanks for liking or subscribing, hitting the notifications button, and then also for extolmag.com/weather. Thanks for following us there. All right, you guys have a great Tuesday today, our last day of September. We'll see you in October tomorrow.